All right, so before I start getting into the topic of the video, which I do believe that college is a scam for most people, I want you to head into this video with a very open mind about what the things I'm going to be talking about and some of the talking points. They're going to be very fresh compared to what most people in high school would typically hear. Or if you're in college right now, just to give you a second, just a more of a fresh perspective, if what you're doing really is what you want to do. Most people just have their entire future laid out for them and they're just following what everybody else does, like sheep following the herd. And again, this isn't going to be anything new. If you're in Gen Z, you've seen a bunch of people posting online. They're like 16 years old. They're 16-year-olds and they're driving Ferraris and things of that sort. Yeah, college is a scam. I don't want to be heading into this with that perspective, but at the same time, there is some truth to that. So my claim is that college is a scam for most people, and yeah, I'll just get into why. So first, the debt crisis, right? The average debt per graduate is 42,673, half $100,000 per graduate on average, right? So the total U.S. student loan debt is almost $2 trillion. 30% of borrowers are 90 plus days delinquent. Average payoff time is 20 to 25 years just to pay off for a piece of paper. And if I were to estimate it, if I were to bet on some of these things that are happening in college, most of these people, they're going to be running their fraternities, just drinking at any chance they can because they're not being watched by their parents anymore. They're able to do things more extreme. They can get away with doing more things that they weren't in the past, just being in high school close to home. So before I get into like that whole social aspect, let's focus on the debt. This should be very eye-opening. The fact that the entire United States has almost $2 trillion of student loan debt, $42,000 of it on average per graduate, that's not something that you should just look at and say, oh, it's normal for everyone to have it. And it'll take me probably 25 years and that's fine. That's not fucking fine. That's not normal by whatever metric you want to measure it. That's not okay. Having a debt that follows you for over 25 years, while it accrues interest, while it has all these things tied down to it, just so you can have a piece of paper saying, hey, I went into class after fucking getting blackout the last couple of days, but I can memorize a couple of things and I can tell you what this means. And again, I'm not against like school as a whole. I think every human should know like basic arithmetic and be able to just convey their messaging and speak eloquently, not just eloquently, but just to portray how they're speaking in a good way. Because I feel like if we just don't know how to communicate, that's where will start to crumble. And I think critical thinking skills are necessary. Like I mentioned, basic arithmetic to keep things going. But for sure, like we'll get into which careers are probably going to be more future proof, not just because the reason there's a bunch of unemployment is because some of the jobs that are in the United States are being outsourced. And if they're not being outsourced, they're going to be, well, outsourced to someone else. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. It'll be outsourced by AI. So again, you need to stay on top of things. If you're just going to be listening to what your parents are saying and what your counselor is saying, you're going to get hurt in the long run by not doing your due diligence and looking at these things through being like, holy shit, I don't want this for myself. I don't want to be fucking paying my debt off for 25 years just so I can get drunk in college. Get your financial stuff set first. Once you have all that stuff set first, then go out and get drunk as many times as do whatever you want. But like first, priorities are priorities. You valuing the college experience just so you can be in a frat and be with a bunch of dudes or a bunch of girls just to fuck around. I, I don't want to sound like Jaden Smith on here, but focus, please. Don't be dumb. The ROI reality, excuse me. ROI break even 11 years on average. And if you're going to ask me where I got these like information from, the reason they have these numbers is because I did do the research and I found like a bunch of sources from Perplexity as well. So if you want to be like, where'd you get this information from? I have the information. ROI break even 11 years on average. College grad starting salary 68K. High school grad salary 43K. So college does make a difference in terms of, hey, you're able to tell to an employer that I'm able to show up on time, I'm able to memorize things, and I can do X whatever capability in whatever field you're studying. That's the great part. I think the one thing that is good about college is the fact that there's so many people there where you're able to actually network with, and you have good opportunities just from being able to network. It could be from your friend's parent, it could be because of your friend's things. I love doing my own networking. I can go on LinkedIn, connect with anybody I want. They'll see that I'm someone that it's all right. Okay, this dude's been on LinkedIn for a while. But he's not going to be bugging me for something saying, hey, I want a job, I want this and that. But again, the ROI reality is that you're going to break even on 11 years, and this is typical, right? And again, the pay disparity between being a high school and a college grad is there. And it makes sense, right? No one's going to be making more money just from graduating high school than if you graduated college and now you have more credentials established. But again, that's 4 years, if you're on track, that you're just never going to get back. And $24,000, if you spread that across the 4 years, then it's like, the employment lie. Where are the jobs? So only 30% of 2025 grads found full-time jobs in their major. I'm going to repeat this again. Only 30% of 2025 graduates found full-time jobs in their major, down from 41% in 2024. So nearly a 50% drop in just a year, and 26% of them are employed outside their major. This again, this is not, this is what I mean when people, if you actually were to look out and say, hey, nice, the fraternities, the girls, the drinking, this and that, what am I doing? Again, you need to follow a path that you want. If you're in college because you have a passion to be a fucking a vet or a lawyer, go ahead. No one's going to argue against your passion. No one's saying that you shouldn't have it. But you need to be able to think critically and say, hey, financially, this is probably isn't the smartest decision, especially because a bunch of people that go into college, they don't even know what they want to do. They pick whatever major they think they can see themselves in. And then 3 months later down the line, they say, hey, I'm not really feeling this. And my guidance counselor isn't really telling me what to do. And so I'm going to switch it up. And then again, they go into a different major because, hey, the lesson was too hard. And it goes again, right? Everything's going to be difficult in its own context. But even if they do graduate, where the fuck are the jobs? And this, we can go into a whole separate topic about the job market and all these things, but it's something else to keep in mind. So degrees that take 20 years to break even or never do. And this is stereotypic wise, you probably know who would be going after these degrees. And I don't mean to be mean at all, but like foreign languages, social sciences, performative arts, education, anthropology. And I'm not saying, hey, we should never have teachers. I think teachers should be paid a lot more. Performing arts, social sciences, foreign languages. I'm not saying these things aren't important, but at the same time, you have to realize, where do these skills actually stack up in contrast to the rest of the total job market. So I know here, the more videos I put out, the more I establish myself as a figure in the tech sales space. So what I did instead was, and let me just run through some stats that are average. So BDR, SDR average salary, 53K to 72K base. Right? Base. This is not counting commissions. And the point of being a BDR and SDR is that, okay, you get your base salary, which already is beating like a good chunk of the base salaries for jobs that you get even with a degree. You're saving 4 years and you're saving yourself $40,000. That's going to take you 25 years to pay over time. But anyways, top performers, 100K with commission. That's easily doable for someone that's been a year or two in an SDR, BDR role, and they're just waiting in line to get that account executive position, or they want to segue into account management, customer success, whatever they want. Again, no degree required for the entry role. I did it at 19 years old. I was probably one of the youngest ones. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of guys out there. I've seen a few dudes on LinkedIn who are 18. But it's just to tell you that the competition is there, right? People in tech sales, they're hungry as well. But if you're able to strategize your way around many of these things, you can beat them. It's not something impossible. So just trying to throw this out there that tech sales is an excellent place to get. You're getting your own specialized degree in business because you're learning the ins and outs of all these top companies are running, how Vanta, how Snowflake, how Varonis, how Google, how all these companies outbound, the tools they use, the specific messaging they use, how to actually talk on the phones, how to handle objections, how to do all these things. And you're getting paid to do it, right? And you're getting your own commission as well. So there's probably going to be people, oh, but you're trying to sell something. Okay, but at the same time, I'm literally telling you, hey, whatever you're going to be putting into this, you're going to be getting a lot more out of this in the long run. And you don't have to listen to me. You can continue to go down your path, but you can compare where that's going to lead you in a couple of years. So again, who should go to college? Doctors, lawyers, nurses. I don't want to be getting represented by someone who never went to law school and did their actual did their actual exams and did do all that. Same thing with nurses. I probably wouldn't want my parents or family members getting taken care of by someone who didn't complete school. But at the same time, people who are in college, they're just using AI. It's up there. Doctors, of course, engineers with high ROI majors, hard sciences, not generic business communications degrees. If you're in school for business, I think of you as a subhuman. I do think of you as a subhuman. That's a joke. So what should you do? Question the system. Your skills mean more than your credentials, and that's going to be playing a much more critical factor the more we progress into 2030. I know there's been an article from the CEO of Anthropic who said, hey, the unemployment rate is crazy right now, but it's about to get a lot crazy in the next couple of years. What you're able to do with the current tech stack of things that are actually moving the needle, and everybody's saying, oh, there's an AI bubble, and I do believe there's an AI bubble. I'm not like, you can notice this as well. Shout out to Chloe. But especially if you're on the path of saying, hey, I'm going to be graduating high school soon, you need to be able to build your skills while you're young, while you have time. You don't have a mortgage, you don't have a family, you don't have 5 kids to take care of. But just know that college is not the only path, and that should be pretty prominent in your decision, especially with how much debt that your peers are going to be paying. If you break into tech sales, you're fine. So again, I'm launching a community to literally help you break into tech sales as I did in the exact system. I used to land 3 jobs in 12 months. No degree required. I don't care. Like, I don't have a degree. I don't care. I don't require you to have a degree. Skills beat credentials. And I'm going to keep repeating this more. I keep making more videos on TikTok, on YouTube. Skills will beat credentials in the long run. There's people getting offers, billion-dollar offers from the ones that Meta were offering to people from the OpenAI team. And I'm not saying they didn't have any good credentials, but it's because of what they were able to do for the company. And it's always the same thing. A bunch of billionaires will always be the ones who say, hey, school is great, but I want to do something more. But they went to good school, so don't throw that out of the fact. They had real good networking, and they probably had real good parents who were wealthy at the same time. But again, you're not them, so you need to find your own path, and that's going to take a little bit of while, and it's going to be you have to search for your own truth. But don't just keep going down a path where it was just laid upon you, saying, oh, college is the next path after school. Or typically people in my community don't go to school. Think for yourself and find different ways to break through things. This is why I was able to succeed so well, because I'm saying, holy shit, there's all these kids I'm seeing on Instagram doing this and that. Why can't I do the same thing? And it's just that you don't need to be very special to do these things. You just need to have a good work ethic. You need to be gritty. You need to just hustle your ass off. And if you know what, if this isn't for you, then just you don't have to do this either. If you want to go to college and you want to just party, and again, there's 2 people that go to college, right? There's the people that actually care about it, and then there's the people that are just chasing the college life that is like very commonly thrown around TikTok and Instagram that everybody knows what they're referring to. So just giving a fresh perspective. Again, this isn't a hill that I die on, but right now the stats prove that college is not worth it for most people in the long run. So something to keep in mind.